In this video, I'm going to show you how a new recruit gets registration done and gets introduced to playing for their new group. This is a 15-minute explainer video, and there'll be some instruction as to how to get registered. Hi, I'm Kelly from the Game Organizer. TGO is the acronym for the Game Organizer. I'll be using that phrase throughout the video. You're attending this video because you're either a new player getting ready for their first game, or you're a roster member who's wondering how a friend would be enrolled and get playing that they've invited to one of the games. So for context of this video, I'll be speaking in context of the person who is new. And although this might be a rather detailed explanation and the new person's probably already played a game by the time they would watch this, it's still very informative as to how the process goes. So welcome, and to your new group in this explainer. If you've ever felt a little anxious about starting up with a new sports group and getting used to their systems, this video is going to walk you through exactly what you need to do and how to get signed up and all those good things in very simple steps. If you enjoy the game and you want to play more, I'll show you how that works as well, right up until registering for next year's season. So let's go for a little ride. There are 4 steps to getting on the ice for your first play, and then hopefully you will have enjoyed the game and want to play some more. That's the entire intention of the onboarding process. It's important to know that emails and web pages will guide you through this, and there's no need to really learn anything. All of the messaging will help you, the new player, do what you need to do to get onto the ice. So there's nothing to learn in this video. However, an understanding of the system is definitely great, and it is definitely advantageous because, of course, we're going to be hoping that you are inviting your friends at some point along the way. So the sign up should only have taken a few minutes, and if it's not already done so, this is the process you're going to go through. Step 1 is simply to verify whether the game is a good fit. You don't know the group very well. You might have had a friend who invited you, or you might have signed an advertising link or clicked an advertising link that was looking for players, looking to fill a game that was coming up. And so the game overview document is what you would read and decide whether it's a good fit. And it has all the information that you need. There's no need to talk to an organizer. You simply read the information, get an email to play, and you say available, and before you know it, you're on the ice. So it's completely automated. So if you are not registered at this point and you're a new recruit, let's get you set up. You're going to want to open up the invitation or click the link that you brought you to what is called the game overview. And so let's get that set up and visible on your computer for the next step. While you're doing that, this video is mostly pertaining, or the images are pertaining to regular players as opposed to specialty players. Specialty players being goalies, pitchers, people who have unique skills or equipment required. They are generally invited on a different schedule, and that would be a different instructional video. But this will definitely be fine for any specialty players to get an idea of the flow, although the scheduling is a little bit different for receiving the invitations to the actual games. Okay, so the group overview document is created by the members of the group, and it's put together by the organizer and placed into here. And its primary function, it has 2 functions. One is to so that all the players in the group understand the terms, the fees, the refund policies. Everything's written down, so there's no question as to how things go. And the second, and probably the most important reason, is that recruits can simply come here, read up on the game, decide if it's a good fit. So the intention of this quick registration is that it's easy to get to your first game. Like, really should just take 5 minutes to get registered, receive your email to invitation, and then off you go. So you basically just need to learn along the way. Every message that's sent to you as a new player has the information on it that's required for you to know what's going on and make the appropriate response to that email. Quite simple. Of interest, though, in this document are the rules and logistics, fees for a PTO, and then after the 9 invitation session maximum, or 3 games played, you'd go to the regular game fees. There's a little bit of information about roster order, which we'll talk about later. There's a refund policies to take note of, and of course, ask the organizer if you have any questions whatsoever. Okay, so at the top and the bottom of the group overview document, there's 2 buttons. On the left side, it says, I am new to TGO and I need to create a TGO account. And on the right side, it says, I have a TGO account already. So make your choice. And if you have one already, you won't have to go and register. And if you do have one, we're going to look at the registration fields right now. Okay, so you have read through the group overview and you've decided it's a good fit and you would like to play. So now we're going to get you signed up with a TGO account so that you can receive invitations. It's not entirely common that that sports groups use software to organize events. Drop-in sports are very laborious to do, and this system is capable of handling large numbers of players required to fill all of the spots on a team or in a group or for a game. And the philosophy of the service is to create longevity in the group. And so we want happy organizers, and we want player fairness. We want to give no good reason for any of the members of the group to leave other than having moved out of the city or what have you. We want to take away the risk of having to be an organizer, financial risk. We want to make the game fair. And so your placement in the roster for a game is based on your level of participation, which is measured by the system as the season goes on. Payment system is free and it's easy. The adaptation of e-transfer by players is incredible. It's well over 99% available to everyone who has played under this system. And it also allows you to find more sports and expand your capabilities of your player account, because you can manage multiple teams all in your TGO account. So creating your account is very simple. Having clicked on the red button in the game overview, you're going to see a form. What we're trying to get at here is create some login credentials for you. Your email address will be your user ID. You're not going to give a password at this time. When you're ready to access your account for the first time, you'll do a password recovery at the login and set your own password at that time. And contact information, we do want your mobile phone number for the benefit of the organizer. And also at some point, we'll probably have SMS notifications. And your city, province, this is more for organizers that might be looking for new players, and they could approach you. If you choose so, you'd have to click a box to be available to those organizers. And in the same breath, your playing profile, where you say you're a specialty player or a regular player, and your skill level, these all help the organizer place you for that all-important first game till they get to know you. And but of course, you need to know whether you're a specialty player or a or a regular player before you get that first game. Equally, as a player, your defense, your forward, you're a fielder, you're an infielder, you're a bat catcher. All of these things are needed to be known by the organizer who doesn't know you, so they can place you in the roster. And then finally, with the group overview, you want to agree to those terms. And if you haven't felt comfortable with them, it's really now is the time to ask that organizer, because it's you're making an agreement. This is an agreement to play for a group. And just like that, you have your personal sports account with TGO. So next, we're going to go to the invitation schedule, and so you can know the terms of your incentive program as a PTO, which is player tryout, just like in real live sports, and how to get you on the ice. So there's 4 playing levels or 4 methods of registration which have different terms. And to give an example of the general method of 2 playing levels, that would be having full-time players. And then when the full-time player is unable to play, then the organizer goes to the spare list and finds somebody to take that spot. And so that's kind of the way things have gone. It's a manageable system. And when the prices were not very high, for instance, hockey has quadrupled in price over the years, not too many years. It wasn't that big a deal. You just paid your money and you played as much as you could. But now it's getting to be a bigger deal. So in the case of full-time players, the average any full-time player will play is 75% of the season's games. And some of the players will continue to play 100%, which means there's an equal number of players that are playing about 50%. And so essentially that 50% player is paying twice as much as the person who plays all the games. And that's just not fair, and it's a very good reason why 50% committing players are quitting, is because they just don't see the value in paying twice as much as someone else. And like I said, the costs are getting to be noticeable. It's not like the good old days. So the playing levels are that you'll select, or the playing level you will select next season when you're a regular player registrant, is your invitation preference. How do you want to be invited, and what is the degree of guarantee of play? Like, do you want guaranteed play or do you want standby potential play? And so you'll pick a playing level that supports either of those 2 options. Attendance commitment, how many games are you going to commit to playing? You're going to pay for, essentially, at the beginning of the season, and there are installment payments to play along the way. And that comes under the financial commitment. What is your financial budget able to handle? And so you would choose that. And so there's a questionnaire to fill these 3 out, and then it's a table to choose one of the 4 playing levels that satisfies that. So there's an overview of the playing level, because the next slide is going to introduce why that means something to you now and not next year when you sign up for the new season. So what the new players are given is a PTO introduction, and it's essentially putting you on a spare trial level 3 system, right, like that. And the idea of this is to give you a taste of what it's like to be a regular roster member. Level 4 is a casual player right here, and casual players, they aren't invited to every game. They're only invited if the spare list has been exhausted and there's still spots available before game time. And then a mass invite goes out to all of these casual players who may want to play. The odds are usually quite low, but they are the types of players that might be traveling a lot or what have you, and they're happy to get an invitation once in a while. So we're going to put you on as a level 3 spare with support level scheduling. What you're going to experience is a discounted game fee, usually around 10 or 20% less than a regular fee. That's up to the group and the organizer to determine. The duration is you'll play 3 games of 9 invitations, or the full 9 invitations. If you play 2 of those games of the 9, you will retain your level 3 spare and support scheduling. With level 3, when you are available to play and you select that, you'll be put on available standby status up until 3 days before the game. And then what the system does is it accepts players in roster order until all of the spots are filled. And so at some point, you could get accepted pay fee, and you are happy and jubilant that you get to play. And so the next thing you need to do is confirm that acceptance by paying, and we'll take a look at all of those things. So after your introductory 3 games played or 9 invitations is over, you will either, one, maintain your support scheduling, or two, if you only played one game out of the 9 invites, then you'd go to casual level. Didn't seem like your heart was really into it. Or you might have gone somewhere along the way. You went, I quit. I just don't like playing here. Or whatever the reason might be. It could be any one of a number of things. But know that you can gracefully bow out of the group. At the footer, in the footer of every invitation email is your ability to pause invitations or be removed from the roster. So there's, as much as you're signing all of these documents to play, it's easy to leave. You don't need to speak with people and make excuses or anything. You can just be on your way. Great, let's move on. So hopefully that crash course and playing level was clear, and it has to do with registration at the beginning of the year, and then what playing schedule you'll have, which is not generally indicative of your registration playing level, but your invitation scheduling has a lot to do with your participation, your level of participation. So now we're going to go to pay to confirm. There's a few steps there. And of course, this is all self-management, so it's easy to do. Thousands have done it. Don't worry. Just follow the bouncing ball. So as I said in a summary previously, you are invited to the next game 5 days before. You say you're available. And then up until, so you're invited, you say you're available. Oh, we got to reset these numbers here. And then you go to standby until 3 days before. You're then accepted, and then you pay the fee. And so that's how it all rolls. And here's an example of what the email looks like. It says right there, here's the game, here's your team, here's the date, here's the time, and your accepted pay fee, and you just purchase a game credit, right? If you go, oh no, I can't play now, I made a mistake. But you really shouldn't have accepted unless you were 95% sure, but maybe stuff comes up. So something in that 5% zone has come up. So you can decline right there. And then the system is going to invite the next person that's on standby in the order. So this is all part of self-management, is that you really want to commit to playing the game. This isn't an I'm thinking about it situation. This is I'm really sure, like something really crazy has to happen in life for me not to show up. So then you'll come to an invoice once you've clicked the red button to buy a game credit. First of all, you'll select the number of credits here that you want to buy. One is your only obligation, enough to pay for the next game. But if you find yourself playing every week or regularly, you might want to buy 2 or 3 up front, because then you don't have to go through this every time you're accepted. The system will automatically take a credit from your banked account and apply it to the game, and you're automatically confirmed. It's really a very simple system. It's a little bit more work if you're running a zero balance of credits. Once you've chosen the number of credits you wish to buy, you just click the red button. And this red button is very important. What it does is it transfers this amount of credits to your account. So there's nothing magical about software. You have to perform an action before you get a reaction. The action is hit the button. The reaction is to drop this great game credit into your account. The reaction is to apply that game credit to the game that you've been accepted for, and the reaction is that you are then confirmed. So this is a very important software piece, and it needs to be done. There's another button down here that will soon be removed, I think, but it's for players who simply cannot pay by e-transfer. But really, it's so rare that somebody hits this button. It's just, I think the new rule will be that if you don't have an e-transfer account yourself, then find somebody who does. You can pay them the money and they can e-transfer the money over. So that's why it's not a step. In the early days, it was a courtesy, but it's not proved to be very useful. Step 3 is that here's all the information you need to send the e-transfer. So you log into your online banking. Here's the email address that you're going to address the funds to. Here's the amount of money that you're going to send. And you press send in your bank account and off it goes. And a really great habit to get into is to click on number 4 is a button that takes you to your financial account. And that way you can be absolutely certain that when you click the red button and it posted your purchase in your financial calendar. So so you never have to worry about it. Did I hit that button? I don't remember if I hit the button. I know I paid, right? But there's another way of making sure that you hit the button, and we're going to look at that right now. So as described, if you don't hit the button, you won't get the credit, and you won't be able to play, or you won't be confirmed. And then if you remain unconfirmed for X amount of time, then the system says, I'm going to give it to someone else, and so you'll lose your spot, essentially. So one way to make sure you hit the button is to look at your account every time, and you can see your transaction. The other way is that you're going to get 2 receipts from this process. One is from TGO, which is the receipt that you hit the red button. The other one is from your bank, e-transfer company, that says we sent the money. And so both of these things are very important. And of course, you might have done something incorrectly in your e-transfer process and it didn't go. So ultimately, like any receipt, you can see both of them are sitting in the inbox, and you can be rest assured that everything went well during your payment. So that's the other way of making sure. So this all sounds kind of painful, but unfortunately, that is the world of software, and there's no software that is allowed to get into your bank account to take money out, which is dissimilar to credit cards, which are, of course, very expensive compared to $0 to run e-transfer systems. And the other thing is that when an e-transfer company like Interact sends money, there's no way that they can plug into a software program to tell them that they sent the money. These are all very confidential services in the financial world, which is full of protections. So this is just never going to happen, and it's just a consequence that we have to deal with to get free money transfers. So as much as this was a long explanation, it's really all very simple. Just reply to all the messages immediately. If you're only 92% sure, just say maybe. If you can confirm if you're 97% sure. Just be considerate, right? If you find that there's that 3% chance happened, like immediately, decline, renege your position and let somebody else have a chance. There's nothing worse than game day reneges and everybody's scrambling to try to fill the spot. No shows as just a no-go. Don't be shy. Even if it's an hour before the game, make sure that you decline or contact the organizer and let them know that you can't come. You don't have to give a reason. You just tell them you can't come because the roster needs to be changed. There's a chance that somebody's on standby and can come in very short notice. Do not be a no-show. Show up. That's what it's all about. And have some fun. So it's all very simple. As time goes on, learn a way you can contribute. If everybody does just a little thing, longevity wins the game, right? It's when you start relying on one person to do everything and then that one person leaves, you've got a problem. That's when the group disbands. So self-management is easy. Your participation is self-management. Be productive with it, and all is good. Okay, we're just about to wrap up. We've gone through everything there is to do, but let's just take a little forward look at the player journey into next season. So next season, you will get an invitation from your organizer a few weeks before, and then maybe even a survey before that asking if you'd like to register for the coming season. And then you'll look in your player account, and all the details will be there for the season. The game calendar is going to have all the game dates. The game calendar is also very functional. This is where you'll update your calendar attendance, either manually if you lost your email or what have you, but also if you are a late decline, the best way to do it is to log into your account and decline in your calendar. Otherwise, you're going to have to search for that original invitation email pertinent to that event, and that can be troublesome. So the habit of logging into your account and updating your attendance from the calendar is the most assured way to make that work well. And inside of a place called My Groups, you have some other functions. If you go on vacation, you can pause your invitations because you have to reply to every message, right, for your participation score. So if you're on vacation and you don't think you'll be looking at your emails, well, just pause your invites for some time. All your financial transactions are available there. There's a history of all the games you played and your attendance statuses for them all. There's access to the game overview if you ever need a refresher on how the team is working. And also your playing level is displayed there. Any notifications, there'll be flashing red buttons in there. So it's very, very condensed and all in one place to manage your activity with the team. But the most important thing probably to log in on a regular basis is to invite your friend. You simply first name, last name, email address, and invite them, and off you go. My office has a lot of things to do, like contact information changes, password changes, videos will be there like this one where you can view. And then ultimately there's an opportunities section where organizers post their groups and a link to join. So these things are all available as you get used to the system, one step at a time. You can start taking advantage of all of these. Do get used to popping into your calendar though and recruiting. You don't have to even play one game to start recruiting. Just get an account and start inviting your friends, and keep the tradition going for seasons and decades and many decades in a row. Like it's many teams that are with us are 30 years into the game. So I think we're just about done. I thank you very much for taking this training. Please message me if you have any comments or feedback. Your organizer can also supply any information that you might need. And I wish you well and a great season. Have fun out there for the sports. This is the Bomber signing off.